What's up? Good morning, everyone. Obviously, it'll probably be turned into a video very quickly afterwards. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I don't really know about this music. I'm gonna mute this. Let me see if I can find something kind of cool to play. You can see my little thumbnail I made for this really quick. We got the radar sent because Daredevil's coming, guys. That's for sure. No, I don't know.
Marvel
Let's go.
champions.
Let's
We
go.
Marvel
Lock in.
champions
Lock in.
fans.
Lock in. Lock in. Lock in.
I knew. I was warned.
Let's
We were so excited
go.
about what's
Let's
coming next.
go.
You saw what we just revealed for
Let's
Arkham.
go.
We are going to talk about a lot
I'm so
today.
excited. Come on.
So, this
Come
is one of
on,
our
make it
pillar
big.
game lines. It has a huge community
Come on,
out
make it
there,
big.
not only here in the U.S., but also internationally. I had the pleasure of interacting with many of
Is the
them.
audio okay? Should I turn them up a little for
recently.
you guys?
And to talk about all the exciting news
Did turn
coming
it
from
up a
Marvel
little.
Champions, please help me welcome Josh Bepler to the stage.
I don't know who this is. I've never seen him
Hey,
before.
Josh.
But he's going to give us some
Come on
good
in.
news. Fingers crossed.
You match our chairs. This is great.
It'll blend right in.
We didn't know. We didn't know. It's exciting. Hi. Welcome
Come
to the party.
on.
Thank you so much.
Some people might not be as familiar with Josh. Can you tell us a bit about what
No,
your job
Tony.
is at FFG?
I'm not going to look at the
and
chat.
company?
I'm not going to look at the chat.
Absolutely. So I've been with
Lock
Acme
in.
a little over 3 years. I was with Unexpected Games, studio founded and run by Corey Kineska, longtime Fantasy Flight Games legend, frankly. And just a few months ago, I joined Fantasy Flight Games as the marketing manager for Living Card Games.
He's getting lightsaber
And I
executed.
know one
No.
of your primary focuses as the new marketing manager, along with your team, is to provide more consistent updates about what's next for all of our
Okay.
living card games, not just Marvel Champions. So I'm really glad you're here, actually, to talk about some exciting new things. So why don't we jump right in? As previously announced, we have a new product coming out. We have the Synthezoid Smackdown
Okay, we knew about
Scenario
this. We knew
Pack.
about
What can you tell us
this.
about this, Josh?
Yeah, so the Civil War is raging on. We've got 2 new leaders joining the fight with Vision and
It's so
She-Hulk.
funny that Marvel makes them call them leaders because they're not villains. I know it's important for like brand parody and making sure that these heroes are, you know, good in all things that they appear in. But I don't know. I feel like they'd be
really
more
exciting seeing
Freudian
this happen
slips where they
because,
call
of
them
course, we've
villains.
introduced this brand new player versus player mode. And just to say aloud, very specifically, just because we have a new play mode does not mean that you cannot play all of our Civil War products still with the typical co-op mode. So anyone concerned about that new mode, it's just optional, and it gives a really great way to kind of engage.
They're
in the game in a
leaders, guys. They're not villains.
Next, I know there is one more announcement that we are talking about in
One?
December. Can you tell us what is
What?
on their way?
Absolutely. So
Talking
we're
about
excited.
in
We're
December?
going to roll out our next rules reference.
Oh,
and
shoot.
we're going to
Oh,
introduce
shoot.
The beta environments for Marvel Champions.
Wait, the
So those
what?
waiting for the first look at those. You'll be able
Beta-
to dive right into that in just a few
What does that
weeks, about
mean?
mid-December.
So that will wrap up
Beta
2025.
environment?
But of
What is he
course,
talking
in
about?
2026, we have announced already that we are kicking off the year with Wonder Man and Hercules.
Leaders,
hero
not
packs. I'm
followers, yeah.
obsessed with this art.
Dude,
Yes,
the
we
art
have
on these
fans,
packs are so
fans.
good.
Now,
Their new
the
artists
year,
are so good.
2026, new
Like
products.
they're
Yes,
just
so it
they're just
means
so
that
good at
all
what
the
they
fans
do,
have asked for
man.
what's
These
coming
arts
next,
are just
what's coming next.
amazing.
Why don't we show them? Can we tell them who's coming into the game?
We can. I think
Daredevil's
it's
getting
finally
shown
time to
off
bring
for
one of the
sure.
most requested heroes
It's
into Marvel
Daredevil.
Champions.
It's
So let's
Daredevil.
go
That's
ahead
why I
and
put the
let
radar
that
sense.
clip.
That's why I put the radar sense in the thumbnail. It's already showing. You can already see it. Yeah, I mean, come on, come on, come on. We knew it was coming. I put it in the thumbnail for a reason. Come on. We knew it was gonna be here. Fear No Evil
That's
expansion.
exactly what we knew it
Oh
happened.
my
That is
gosh,
exactly right.
that is
Daredevil
crazy.
joining Marvel Champions. What can you tell us?
That's
Now,
crazy.
we are
Oh, it
thrilled.
looks so
Daredevil,
good.
Alongside Echo as 2 new playable heroes.
Echo.
will join us here in the Fear No Evil
Echo.
expansion. That is
Awesome.
coming this, next summer, 2026. Of course, 2 new playable heroes. You're going to have 3 more villains to fight against. We have plenty more information coming soon on that. but we
2
don't have
playable
long
heroes,
to wait.
3
Now,
villains.
when I hear
Wait, what?
Daredevil, a few other heroes might pop into one's brain. So who's going to be joining Daredevil next year?
So with Daredevil, as you may expect, we are going to dive right into the Defenders.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, let's hear it.
Oh my goodness, that's so
Jessica
cool.
Jones and Luke
That's
Cage
so
hero packs are gonna
cool.
be
I mean,
coming to us right after the Fear No Evil expansion.
Absolutely. The Defenders have always been some of my favorite heroes. Are they some of yours as well?
They are. I think they, of course, such
that I
a
heard
group
3
of
villains
heroes, but
too. I
very
was kind of
they also
intrigued
have
by
a
that.
Great rogues gallery and some really cool enemies that they battle against. And with that, we're going to be diving into our next scenario pack.
Both of these are Bruno, right?
Shadowland.
The art. Oh,
So the
okay.
Defenders will do battle with
the hand?
shadowy crime syndicate of ninjas, the Hand.
For those not here in person, there was an "oh" that happened. That's the same noise we made when we saw this art for the first time. It's amazing. With
This
the
is
hand
so
there in the back.
cool.
So we have Daredevil, Echo, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Hand. It feels like maybe we're only missing a couple final pieces. What's going to end out next year?
So
Oh,
for Battle of
shoot.
the Hand,
We're doing
you may expect
everything.
We're going to see 2 more hero packs with
Oh my
Elektra and Iron
this is
Fist
crazy.
joining Marvel Champions.
They just, oh my gosh, they
Alright.
just showed everything.
So,
They showed
to
everything.
recap,
They said there was
we
3
have
scenarios in the box.
Wonder Man and Hercules hero packs releasing in spring of 2026. The Fear No Evil campaign expansion in summer of
Fear
2026.
No Evil.
Jessica Jones.
They
and
actually
Luke
did it.
Cage
They
hero
put
packs
Daredevil
also
in the
releasing summer of
box.
2026. Then the Shadowlands scenario pack in the fall of 2026. And rounding at the year,
They
we have
really
the
are
Elektra
bringing back
and
scenario
Iron
packs. There's been
Fist
so many
hero packs
recently.
releasing
I'm
in
for
winter
it.
2026. So let it be known, Marvel Champions is going strong, and there is more coming to our fans in the future. Thank you so much, Josh. Let's give Josh a round of applause.
That's it. Yeah, okay. I
So
mean,
glad to
that's
have you
they
join
showed
the
every
team.
product coming out the rest of the year,
Now,
like basically.
we're only a third of the way through the in-flight presentation, so there is still much more. There's so much more to talk about. So why don't we move on
Okay.
to Fantasy Flight
Okay.
board games? All right. So our most recent release, of
Only
course,
one
was
cycle, that's what I
Twilight
was thinking,
Imperium
too.
Thunder's Edge. So for those not
Because weren't they
familiar,
talking about
let's
trying to
take
get
a
back to
look at
2 a
that
year?
video.
Let's rewatch this again because he said something here about 3 villains, which is interesting to me. Why are we getting 2 less villains? That's a bit scary.
That's
Question
exactly
mark?
what we knew would happen. That is exactly right.
Let's
Daredevil
listen to
is
this part
joining
again.
Marvel Champions. What can you tell us, Josh?
Yeah, we are thrilled. So Daredevil, alongside Echo, as 2 new playable heroes, will join us here in the Fear No Evil expansion. That is coming this next summer, 2026. Of course, 2 new playable heroes. You're going to have 3 more villains to fight against. We have plenty more information coming.
So, do you think he actually messed up? Is it actually 3 more villains, or are they being serious? It's 3 villains. I would see no. What reason would they have to drop the? I don't want to speculate on it too much, but what reason would they have to drop the villain count? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, no Fantastic Four. It doesn't really make sense to me why 3 villains in 5 scenarios. So you mean something maybe like on the run or the villains are reused? I could see that. I really don't understand why there would only be 3 villains in the box. That would be a cause for concern if we're getting like a card drop. No Punisher's crazy. I hope Kingpin's in there. A couple of scenarios. Repeat villains like Collector. Yeah, see, that's what people were saying. Yeah, maybe they're just gonna have like really big encounter decks for a lot of mod sets where it's like 3 separate villains. Yeah, like an Apocalypse or like something like that where you refight the villain. Maybe that's what he meant. I don't think it's any cause for concern right now. I guess the
Now,
bigger
when I
cause
hear
to concern
Daredevil, a few
is
other heroes
more
might pop
what's
in.
it called? I guess a bigger cause to concern for more people is probably the release schedule, and I'm of both minds on that. I was really excited that they wanted to they're trying to cause a trick box. I really hope that's not true. That's why I don't want to sound the alarm. I'll wait for them to give an answer on it. Kingpin and Typhoid are 2 of them. I'm guessing looks at the art. Oh yeah, Kingpin is back here. Yeah. Yeah, it is right here. I guess I didn't even see that. He's in the top right. Yeah, I'm of 2 minds of this. I think that as a player, of course I love getting product. I love getting product, but honestly, I don't know. I don't want to like be FFG's defender here. As a player, sometimes I feel like I don't get enough time to actually touch and go. Like a lot of the products kind of feel touch and go for me. Like I feel like we had just gotten Trickster Takeover by the time Civil War came out, but also no, not necessarily in that situation. But I don't know how to describe it. It makes, as the community, we focus on the heroes a bit longer, but I would say I'd probably prefer more releases rather than less in general. Yeah, that's really interesting that they said they were really trying to bring up the release cadence back, and they released one cycle. They're releasing one cycle next year, and I mean that was the whole roadmap, right? Like that was the whole thing. We're getting
Ultra and Iron.
How does that compare to this year? Let me actually bring up Hall of Heroes real quick. So we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 heroes and like 7 villains. 8 heroes and 7 villains. And how does that compare to this year? I can't actually, I can't think right now. I'm just gonna have to go to the website and look. That's interesting, right? We started with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Magneto was the end of last year. Give the video some likes. Oh, true. Let's give it a like. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the same amount, right? We got 8 heroes this year, and how many scenarios? 5, 10, 5, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, we're getting definitely less. 11, 12. We got 8 heroes and 13 villains this year. And next year we're getting. I meant your stream. No. Give myself.
Hero packs releasing in winter 2020.
Oh, okay.
So let it be known.
So we're getting 5 less villains. 6 less villains? That's interesting. I don't know how many is going to be in Shadowland. It could be like Mojo Mania and we get 3 there. So then, yeah, it's still 5 less villains. Yeah, this is interesting. And what does spring, is this like, are they trying to announce a delay again? Am I crazy? Or is February in spring? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I think February is spring, or are they trying to show they got delayed again, which would be really unfortunate. What month does spring start? March? Are they trying to announce a delay on Wonder Man and Hercules already? Aren't they slated for February, or am I crazy? There's no way that's spring, right? It's I guess they didn't want to call it winter. Summer, spring, summer, fall, winter. I guess they probably just didn't want to call it winter. That's probably why they put spring here. I probably would have just put it early or something. Yeah, this is really interesting. So I think, I mean, Elektra makes sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense, I guess, is that people would have expected Punisher. They could mean Q1, yeah. I think people probably really expected Punisher in this wave. And it doesn't seem like, one, we're getting a revisit, or we're getting a core box, which is fine with me. I wasn't really anticipating either of those, to be honest. I know there was a lot of talk about it in the community. That I wasn't really expecting a core box or a revisit. I thought a core box would make a lot more sense next year. I don't know why. It was a feeling I had. I don't know if they're actually gonna do it next year. And a Punisher being missing is definitely really interesting. Obviously, they want to keep the boy girl in the box, and most people thought it would be like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in the box or something of that effect, or it could have even been Daredevil and Elektra, and then you could have had Punisher as that slot next to Iron Fist. But I think this is an interesting way to take it. I really like the box art graphics, like the Daredevil font here. The team does really great work in my opinion, and always the logos and the art as of recently looks really good. I don't think it's really any. I don't know. People are gonna have really strong opinions on this either way, and I think for a team and a set of characters that have been so how do I put this? So anticipated for such a long time. I like that. It seems like they're putting a good focus on it. We've got the hand, which is pretty important, at least for the Daredevil storyline in the Shadowland. Hopefully we get 2 or 3 villains out of that box. And then we also have probably to offset the reduced villain count. That would be interesting. I don't know how to feel. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I wonder if they'll have a surprise release like how Civil War was. Otherwise, tighter release schedule is a lot. Yeah. I really, so again, I don't want to sound any sort of danger bells or anything like that, but I really hope it's not actually 3 villains in the box without a really big reason. Now, if it's 3 villains in the box but the card count is the same, that's kind of the more important part to me, because it kind of means that we're getting either a lot of modular sets or they're doing something really interesting with the heroes in terms of like their deck building or the amount of cards we're getting. I don't know why. I feel like, you know, they practice this pitch and they have a script and a teleprompter and whatnot and probably all those things. I don't know why they would specifically say 3 if they didn't mean it, unless we're trying to read into it that it was a mistake, which I can't speculate on. Yeah, I'm not like the biggest Defenders fan of all time, but I thought it was fairly obvious that it was coming next. I am excited for sure. I think there's a lot of cool stuff. When they started off with Synthezoid Smackdown, I didn't have a ton of not that I didn't have a ton of hope, but I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm really surprised you got the roadmap. I'll put it that much.
Requested heroes in tomorrow.
I had a sinking feeling we weren't getting much next year. They were Yeah, no, that's literally what I just said. Like, your comment just came up after I finished saying that. Yeah, when they started with Synthezoid Smackdown, I was like, oh no, this. I don't know. I had like this feeling that this is not a good look. Like this, compared to how Arkham started with like their new core box and whatnot. February. Wonder Man and Herc, June for Fear No Evil, July for Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, September for Shadowlands, and November for Elektra plus Iron Fist. That's crazy. We're talking about this a year in advance when we're probably going to hit Elektra and Iron Fist. But around that time, they might not even be out yet with the delays and such. We might be seeing the next year. We might be seeing the Fantastic Four this time next year in the what's it called? In Fireport. This is really interesting. So, like, people were reading into a lot of the comments at Olivia on the Reddit that are like, you know, 2026 is going to be a big year. 2027 is going to be even bigger. I don't want to discount the fact that they could surprise us and do a product, but the fact that everything's been getting delayed and kind of like the cadence in general for this game, I really think that this is it for the 2026. And I wonder how it'll affect the community at large, in my opinion, that we kind of just know, everything, right? Do I think that's accurate? I could see like a May for Fear No Evil. Is that actually summertime though? February, March, April, May, so like two months. Do May. Guessing Luke Cage will be protection, Iron Fist will be aggression. Wonder aspect what Daredevil will be. He has to be justice, right? Isn't his whole thing like blind justice? He's a lawyer. I feel like Justice is definitely the shoe-in for Daredevil, but you know, I could be wrong on that. I think Justice makes the most sense. I think we might get some interesting stuff for Justice to do an alter ego. Maybe I doubt we'll get anything with the attorney trait, but maybe we could. That'd be cool for like She-Hulk or something. I think we might get some interesting alter ego Justice things. Maybe he's able to remove Thwart because like he's taking on the case or something. I guess Jessica Jones could also be Justice because I don't know a ton about that character, but I know she's kind of like an investigator as well. Maybe they give Daredevil leadership because I don't know, like he leads the Defenders. I don't even know if that's true. Like I said, I don't know a ton about this team, so to say. So yeah, I mean Luke Cage is obviously going to be protection. I don't think there's any sort of leeway on that. Yeah, this is interesting. What I can talk about is I think the art is amazing, right? Like obviously I was saying the art has been so good for this game. I saw the radar sense here. You know, you see his glasses. I thought this was a cute teaser, and I'm glad it wasn't just silhouettes and stuff like that. Justice, Daredevil, aggression, Echo, leadership, Luke Cage, Justice, Jessica Jones. Aggression, Elektra, protection could be. Leadership, Luke Cage always just stands out to me because he seems obvious in protection. That a lot of the heroes they do with stuff like that. His art's really good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who this artist is. I think it's just a normal like box artist. It's really awesome. I like the radar sense.
Luke Cage hero.
I think both of these are Bruno, right? This is very Bruno Frenda. I'm pretty sure both of these are him. It looks good. You know, this art is kind of reminds me of the Colossus art here when he's getting all the bullets that are bouncing off him. And this one, can she punch holes in walls? I don't know nothing about Jessica Jones. I wonder who the artist on this is. This Joey? It might be. I think this might be Joey here.
Same.
They really are commissioning these same artists, and good.
We're gonna see 2 more hero packs with Elektra.
Yeah, I think this one Bruno. I can't tell. I don't know their styles one-to-one. I think the Iron Fist art is really cool. I really like the effect works on this one. I think this is Joey based off the effect work. This is really cool art. The Elektra is also very cool looking. I think it's kind of like a classic look for her for sure.
Campaign expansion
Yeah,
in
what's
summer
up,
of
Hayden?
2026. Jessica Jones.
I don't know how much more I really have to speculate on. I guess I could try and catch up with the live stream, see if they showed anything else kind of interesting off, but I don't really know I have much else to add. Yeah, they're just talking about SWU now, and I don't really have any. I don't have any sort of like tie-in to this game or anything.
The end of season 0.
Editions of stuff, just not through the Vault series.
Do
Most
they?
of the time,
The roots of FFG and kind of bring us back to that a bit. So
I wonder what they're talking about here.
maybe 1. Let's give them like 1.
if you follow that QR,
They announced something new for Zombicide. A Squid Game? What the heck is going
I
on?
have never said that in any
Cthulhu will return. It's probably pretty cool.
We are taking the
Oh, 2 properties are coming back. That's pretty cool.
right brain burn I needed.
to get
Oh, they're talking about the Star Wars deck building, and they announced a new expansion. That's pretty cool.
coming soon.
They're like making this a line. They're making this a. I don't know if I'd call it an LCG. They are making this a line. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I really don't know if I have much else to really add to the discussion other than I'm like with most of the game. I am tentatively excited. I am kind of bummed that we aren't. Jessica Jones is like a way weaker Captain Marvel without the lasers. Okay, thank you. I am kind of bummed. I mean, admittedly, that you know, I was kind of expecting us to get back to a faster kind of release cadence, and it is definitely not what's in their plans for the future. I don't know if it's something that we're trying to even out the line, or maybe catch up, get ahead of all the delays I think might be coming if they tried to do 2 waves in 2026, and they're trying to prepare for maybe a 2027 where it's actually the return of 2 waves in a year. I couldn't tell you. They said something's happening with a demo environment. That kind of intrigued me too. I don't know what that meant. It was right back here. It's in the SmackDown. Let's listen to that again.
Chairs were denim just for you. John is our denim-clad designer in the office more often than not. Welcome. Hello.
That what the I did not. I went back here and I went to live. I think I clicked live on accident.
Cards and some of the contents there, and we're excited to confirm this is coming in early December, so just a few weeks away.
It's
Early
really
December,
exciting to see
cool.
Civil War happen because, of course, we've introduced this brand new player versus player mode, and just to say,
I wonder how much
very
the
specifically,
RRG
just because we have a
1.7 is
new
going
play
to change.
mode
I'm
does
pretty
not
excited
mean
for
we cannot
that.
Play all of our Civil War products still with the typical co-op mode. So anyone concerned about that new mode, it's just optional, and it gives a really great way to kind of engage with the game in a new and unique way.
Did they show off any
I
of the
know
characters
there
or
is
card
one
effects?
more
No, it was just
announcement
box
that we
arts.
are talking
Just
about in
box arts.
December. Can you tell us what is coming their way?
And the
Absolutely.
product
So We're
timeline.
excited in December. We're going to roll out our next rules reference, and there within we're going to introduce the beta environments for Marvel Champions, and
So, okay, we're announcing something called a beta environment. I have no idea what that means, but we are getting a new rule book in December, so that's going to be pretty interesting. I have no idea what a beta environment means. Does it mean they want people to like test cards, test interactions? Does it mean it's a proto current environment? Like, I have no idea what that means.
waiting for the first look at those. You'll be able to dive right into that in just a few weeks, about mid-December.
So that will wrap up 2025.
Mid-December.
Environments for Marvel Champions.
I have no idea what that means. it's kind of interesting. I think a lot of people are going to be burned out by this presentation because, one, it's not even one of the designers. Like, none of the designers are here talking about the game. We kind of have this marketing. Oh, by the way, I keep track of Asmodee product listing. I believe Synthezoid was pushed 1 week. Yeah, no, it was supposed to be the 5th of December. So it got delayed another week again. Yeah, so like I said, I had two minds about this, where I am very excited with like kind of the characters coming and the general trend of the design and the heroes and whatnot in this game. But you know, the lack of product releases, I don't think it's super concerning in terms of health of the game. I just think that I don't know, it just kind of. I started Marvel Champions on 2024. I don't have a lot of content from Wave 1. I wanted to hear some news about that. Yeah, I think that this is really good for talking about the future of the game. They're still kind of beating around the bush on the future of the game, right? Like, we're not talking about current environment. We're not talking about revisits. We're not talking about, like, out-of-print stuff. So as a fan of the game and the content they've been releasing previously, I kind of like this. I like the heroes they showed. But the... you know, the roadmap is really cool because that's like, you know, we can kind of guess when articles are coming out, and it's kind of information we didn't have in the past, which is good, and it's an improvement on the past. They keep saying the game is going strong, trust us, but everything they do makes it hard to trust them. Yeah, and I don't blame people for thinking like that. Like, I wanted to get out of the chat because it looked overwhelmingly negative, which I don't think people are necessarily wrong for thinking, thinking negatively in terms of things that have been going on recently. There's been a ton of delays this year. They wanted it to go back to 2 waves a year, and now we're back to literally just 1. They're not even trying to act like, okay, we're going to try and play catch up and introduce like a big box in like December or something, or November, and then maybe we move the rest of the things up a little bit. What do you think about the reduction of villains from 5 to 3? Yeah, I'm not trying to play copium on it. I don't think it's a cause for concern. My take on it is I don't think it's a cause for concern unless card count in the box drops. So FFG constantly talks about, and even the designers, that they're very limited by like the 270 odd cards they have in a box. Everything they need, from the heroes to the campaign cards to the scenarios, need to fit within that limit. Now, if we're hitting something like 240 cards in a box, I think that's a cause for concern. That we're not even designing the normal amount of villains. I think that's very scary. What I hope he meant is it's going to be like a collector situation, or a yeah, if I'm reading into it and putting a little bit of my own hopeful spin on it, I hope it's something like a collector situation or a apocalypse situation where it's 3 villains but they're different scenarios. Wonder if the Fear No Evil article will happen after Wonder Man and Hercules release. We've only had one time before where we were in a period where we had no information about the future. I think they probably will happen after Wonder Man and Hercules. The main, I don't know. I can't really make a prediction on this. I wouldn't say it's likely, but I think it's possible. Mostly because now that we have a roadmap, they might take that for us having information, right? Like, they don't need to stress about when these articles come out or anything like that, because we know what's coming next. Like, we have the roadmap for the entire year. We know we're getting 8 heroes, an expansion box, and a scenario pack. And one thing I did want to know is I do like scenario packs. I think there's a lot of people who are really only in the game for the heroes, which I think is fine. People like different games for different reasons. And I think it's a fine way to think about and play with and interact with the game. That being said, yeah, I don't know. The amount of products definitely bums me out a little bit. I don't even want to, like... I mean, I'm sure Arkham had less, right? But, like, theirs is going up. Right, and they got like this cool little, like, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, they have like 7 products, but they got like this cool Game-Genic line that looked really awesome, and you know, there was nothing like that. There was nothing like extra for Marvel Champions. That was a really cool transport solution. I already have my Game-Genic cast, and it works really well for what I wanted to do, but you know, I'm a consumer. I probably would have picked up a Marvel branded one too if they had something like that. I don't know. Compared to last year's, I would say that this is definitely better than what we got. But that being said, it really doesn't quell a lot of the, I would say, concerns that have been bubbling in the community. And I do think it's a tad tone deaf to have somebody not really related to the line talking about the line. I think that's kind of where I stand on this. I'm not going to give like a presentation or rating, but I think it was all right. I think like a 5 out of 10. I think there's a lot of concerning things. We're not talking about the current environment. We're not, you know, if Kingpin's the final villain, considering it's Kingpin, I wonder if they'll have a scenario where you pull a villain from another release, play against a modified version of that as hired muscle. Like I said, the main thing that comes with me is the value proposition. I don't want the game to feel like it's trying to skimp content. I feel like there's a lot of heavy kind of discussions and ideas like that floating around the community where we're getting a lot more card reprints because of the current environment, so that's like less development work. And now if we're getting something that only has 3 scenarios, I'm going to use the word scenarios and not villain. If we're getting an expansion box that only has 3 scenarios, that's another thing. We're just like shaving stuff down. We're shaving down the development time. We are cutting corners, like there's no other way to put it, right? We're cutting corners to save money on a line that obviously makes us money, but it doesn't make us as much money as SWU. And I don't want to like sound any sort of disaster bells. I don't think this is a sign of anything that the game is slowing down or the game is failing or anything like that. I have no reason to believe any communication that Olivia has told us has been, misleading purposefully in any way. I just think that this is probably an awkward year for them. That's what it looks like from this release timeline. And I really hope they do go back on kind of like, not that promise, but kind of like that statement they made. They wanted to speed up releases. I don't know what's going on with distribution. I don't know what's going on with Asmodee. Even the fact that their community manager has earnestly said that she doesn't know what's going on with it either, and she has to get these answers is definitely a bit of a cause for concern. And I think that they have this very conservative 5 scenarios to 4 Civil War and 3 with this new one. Yeah, so the thing about Civil War is that it's only 4 because they needed all the PvP cards in the pack, right? So like that's the thing. Like you look at the box, it's the same number of cards. It's 273. Like I said, like if we're getting an expansion box that is the same price, the new MSRP of $47.99, and it's like 240, 230 cards, I think that's a big cause for concern in terms of them like shaving the line. I don't think that this should be something they should be doing, especially if you consider they're making a scenario pack that's going to have 2 to 3 scenarios. If we get a box that has like 220, 230 cards, then we get a scenario pack with 70 cards that are related to the box, that's probably unacceptable, right? But I don't want to speculate like that. I don't want to speculate negatively because nothing has 2 heroes and 2 villains. Big box is 2 heroes and 2 villains. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to like doom post or fearmonger because really we don't have the article. We don't know what their plan is for the box. And once we get like that kind of product page up, I'm sure all of the, maybe they're quelled or maybe they're confirmed that, yeah, we are dropping card number significantly, which would be not good at all. I think you have a very large outcry for that. I think the fact that they mentioned 3 villains is already kind of scary to a lot of people who are watching the presentation. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to like rate like presentations. It's better than last year's, but it really doesn't answer the kind of bubbling concerns of the community in a lot of ways. I know Olivia said that they will have answers in the future, and that kind of like they said like, again, I don't want to like say that she was lying or anything because I don't think that's true. Comparing this to last year's, it's like a night and day, the amount of information and even clarity we had on the line, in my opinion. But that being said, it still doesn't concern a lot of the concerns of the community, and I hope we'll have more communication going into 2026 that is stronger on that front. I want them to talk about current environment. I want them to talk about revisits. I want them to address a lot of the concerns that are going on throughout the community because I love this game, and the stuff they've been putting out is really great and awesome and everything like that. But there are questions and concerns that should be addressed and handled and answered, and I think it'd be only the better for the line at large. I think that's kind of where I fall on this. I'm really looking forward to Wonder Man. I'm looking forward to Hercules. I'm looking forward to Synthezoid Smackdown. I think that there's a lot of great content that's going to be coming out for the game. It's just going to be a bit slower than we're used to. I I still think it's crazy. It's like the monkey paws. Like, we want to speed up releases, then we get a whole year of a ton of delays in releases, and then a kind of light year, all things considered, next year. I still think Midnight Suns will preempt Core 2.0 for reasons I mentioned, but I wonder if the Defenders wave will be followed by a Spider Wave 2.0. I think it's kind of possible. I think if you you look into it a little bit, we can get some street level stuff like Absolute Carnage. We can get like a Venom Eddie Brock. We could get probably more grounded, maybe a Doc Ock villain or scenario pack or something like that. I think we can get a more grounded Spider experience, non-multiverse. The problem is, how do you fill out that wave? Do you go like the Heroes for Hire route that they're helping him out? Do you go like a Shang-Chi, a Cloak and Dagger? Do you go, Venom? I think Eddie Brock, if we ever revisit the Spiders, will probably be the number one pack that we go to. Do we go like Heroes for Hire? Do we go the Punisher in here? I mean, the Punisher in Spider-Man in the Civil War storyline, he saves him, so maybe that's where they're saving the Punisher for. Like, I think there's a lot of things you can speculate past this, but I think there's so much to speculate on for what is announced that I wonder. And it's going to be interesting because, like, who knows with the ways that delays and the products and everything is going, if we'll even have Elektra and Iron Fist by their report this time next year. Like, who knows? I don't know. I don't know if we'll have them out by then. It feels like almost every product this year has been delayed. So I think the most reasonable explanation for this light wave and the not sort of 1.7 RG is that they're gearing up for adjusting for whatever this beta environment is supposed to be. Oh, Shang-Chi, I just realized he's not here. I wonder when he'll show up. Maybe they're having to adjust 2027 releases to match the future verbiage changes. See, I think that's a good kind of prediction. Wow, they're still talking about SWU. Oh, the Darth Vader Matt. That's pretty fun. Of course, I got Adrian to talk about products. Nothing for Marvel Champions. New mechanics and stuff. They announced Twin Suns as an official format. I know that's a really popular side format in SWU. That's kind of cool. And Darth Maul has a brother that's yellow. I don't know anything about Star Wars. Yeah, I think not psionics. I think that's a pretty good way to think about this. Yeah, they called it the beta environment and not current environment, which I thought was kind of interesting. If they're changing the name of it, I don't think so. I think what it is going to be, I mean, they could be changing the name of it, but I think you're right. I think they are really going to try and clean up the wording and the verbiage on some cards. I'm really surprised they've never done a text errata on cards, not to like buff or nerf them, but to make it clear how cards work. A lot of this game in set wave 1 and 2 was really getting on its feet and getting a game that was fun to play rather than one that was consistent with the rules as written. They wanted a fun game and a game that succeeded first before making it very tight mechanically. And I don't think that's had a ton of negative effects, but it definitely does bother some people. If this 1.7 is really significant, that could make sense why they're dropping less content. Maybe it leads up into something that's interesting. Who knows? Who knows? If it is really significant and it's really the outline for current environment, the fact that also Olivia said 2027 is looking really big, I think that would be the year to expect our first revisits. That would be the year to expect maybe a new core box with all the new wording that we've gotten in the 1.7 rulebook, and factors such as that. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how much I can talk in circles about just like image teasers and what I think the future of the game is. I'm excited. I don't really have a ton of connection to any of the Defenders outside of like specifically Daredevil and I guess the Punisher, who doesn't look like he's in this wave. I'm not saying that they can't surprise us, but the fact that they wanted to blatantly show a product roadmap, I think it's the point to temper expectations for the whole year. Like, oh, what if they start the second wave this year? No, they showed us what they plan on getting out in the year, so that when these inevitable delays happen, speculation on Daredevil's mechanics. Oh my gosh. A lot of mine are going to be built off of kind of I printed out the proxy deck of kind of the most famous fan-made one here. So a lot of my predictions have probably come from this. I mean, there's a lot of cards in this deck that I don't think make a lot of sense, but it's also an old homebrew design. I think it's going to have something with thwarting and alter ego. it's his alter ego ability, whether it's the aspect cards he comes with, whether it's a hero card. I think that they're gonna really lean into this maybe this double agent persona. I kind of like She-Hulk-ish, where he wants to flip. He gets stuff off of flipping. That's pretty good. I'm not saying like he's gonna get like 2 damage or he's gonna get threat reduction, but I think maybe something like a Gambit where he thwarts an alter ego. He might literally have a thwart stat on. Okay, I don't think they'd go that far because that would mess up the rules and wording a ton. But like maybe he has like a 3 thwart stat when he's like in his alter ego form. I think that could be really interesting. Not 3, that probably breaks solo. Yeah, I don't, oh no, I guess they're hero responses. No, they're not. They're just responses on the player side schemes. I think he's going to have some sort of interesting hook to alter ego, to thwart. You see a lot of this kind of early ideas from She-Hulk's kind of, you know, her law office and whatnot, her cards that are kind of bad, that discard cards to thwart an alter ego. Obviously, his will be modernized. Are you stoked for attorney support for She-Hulk? If they do it, I would be happy with it. Like, I'm not going to complain anything that buffs She-Hulk. Like, you know how I feel. Like, anything that is a buff to She-Hulk is a buff to me, is what I like to say. Yeah, I think he'll have the attorney keyword for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll have some interesting alter ego hooks. I wonder how they will do his radar sense, because it feels like Falcon has a lot of that encounter deck kind of knowledge and preparation that a radar sense type of ability would give Matt. So maybe his radar sense does something where maybe he doesn't always see the top card, but he has multiple ways to rearrange the top of the encounter deck, or ways to put cards from the encounter deck discard pile back on the top. Maybe in a roundabout way of playing as Falcon and whatnot. I guess there's really no other way to say that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Spider Sense is displayed. It's not the same thing. It's kind of similar, but Spider Sense is displayed as, you know, Peter drawing a card. I wonder if it'll be some sort of card draw related thing as well. But he has to do something different because he can't just print Spider Sense again. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think they would. I think his Billy clubs are gonna give him +1 attack and maybe +2 attack. Maybe he has 1 Billy Club 1, Billy Club 2, like Drax's knife, Drax's other knife. Not the same thing. Having a hero equivalent of Quick Strike. Ooh, that's pretty good because he can kind of like read people's movements. So like when maybe he has like a counter, or like when a Quick Strike is activated against you, you hit them first with your basic attack or something. I think he's gonna have some basic attack buffs for sure. He might have like an attack card that's like when you exhaust. I'm not saying he's gonna have like a Hulk smash. Maybe he has like a probably has a minion swing his Billy Club around. Maybe he has an AoE hit like Spray Fire. I don't know. I really don't know. I like the design. I like how he looks in the art. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really interested to see what they do, the direction they go with this, and how they react to the community's reaction. Because if I had to take a little temper based on what I saw in the chat, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people pleased that Daredevil's finally in the game. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that are very concerned about issues that are bubbling up. And I don't know if I'm one of those specifically, but I do think it's worth addressing, and I hope we do address it, like I've said, in the future. Yeah, I'm cautiously excited for the heroes. I think they'll probably be cool, like every single design has been for the past couple times. Not sure if anyone else said it, but a Reddit comment from an FFG play did confirm that Daredevil expansion box will be full size. The speaker misspoke. Okay, yeah. That's kind of what I was saying when he said it too. That from my perspective, I didn't want to like be high on copium and people to make fun of me, but I was like, I don't think they had any reason to drop the count. And what I think he was thinking about was probably the Arkham Horror new box, right? Because the cores only ever have like 3 expansions in all their games, I'm pretty sure. I think that one only has 3. It's probably why he thought that, again, which is kind of a negative, that they didn't even have a single person on the line talking about the game, which is really concerning in my opinion. Not really like concerning that it's bad for the game. I think that'll be it for me. Like I said, I'm excited for the characters they release. I'm excited for them mechanically. I'm excited for the villain. I'm excited for everything. The release cadence is not to my liking. I wish it was sped up like they promised. considering there's still been a ton of delays that have been happening with the game that I don't think will actually stop unless they really give these gigantic lead times. I hope they get that in order. I'm excited for the future of the game, and I hope they give us more information in the future. I'm probably going to edit this and upload it into a video right after. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I don't really have an outro for the video, but, you know, like the stream, subscribe, all that stuff. Join the Discord if you want to chat some more about this and speculate. That's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Goodbye.